Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Today is Thursday, October 28th. Now, I've talked a lot about food on this podcast and on this program, all the time, a lot of the times. And I've, shared my love for Mexican food, Italian food, steak, a bunch of other things that I just find delicious. But one that gets overlooked, I think, and one that I think that is a staple in this country or just in this culture, I think, is a good old-fashioned, delicious, whether it be a single, double, slap some bacon on it, maybe a little bit of pastrami, is a cheeseburger. Now, I'm not talking hamburger because I don't even think that those really are a thing. In most eyes, I just order the cheeseburger and that's it. I don't even pay attention if there's a hamburger or anything. I just order the cheeseburger. Anyway, just because how can you not want cheese on that thing? It's already so good, and the cheese just it's elevates the flavor so much. And I'm just thinking, like, how could anybody get a hamburger? I mean, I guess if you're lactose or if you really just like dislike cheese, but I understand that. But it's like, okay, whatever. I've always been a cheeseburger guy, and I think that unless I find out that cheese is very bad for me or causes cancer or something like that, which in reality, pretty much everything gives you cancer, or can cause cancer. So, I mean, we're just living in some kind of, you're not going to live in a bubble, right? So, until cheese is proven like super bad, I'm just going to continue to eat it. I always eat cheeseburgers. But there's always one ingredient that sometimes can either make or break a burger, or cheeseburger, in my opinion. It's not it's not the meat or the bun or the lettuce, or the sauces on it, really. It comes down to one thing, and this is also if you are a big fan of this ingredient, and that is the pickles. Recently, I had a cheeseburger for lunch at Foster's, which is a place in, I believe only in the Central Valley of California. Very good spot. They're very an old-timey feel. It feels like the 1950s in there. The design is usually you can see this guy, he's made of ice cream, I think. He's got a cone for a hat or something like that, or his head is like a swirl of ice cream. But they make a lot of good milkshakes, ice cream, but also burgers and corn dogs and chicken tenders. A lot of traditional fried food that you would get at a an actual fast food establishment. Now they are a chain, but again, like I said, they're only in the Central Valley of California, I believe. But yeah. And I've been going there since college, back in the day, back in 2012, 2013, 14, and so on. Not the 2020s, but back then in the mid 2010s, I'd go there a lot, and I always just admired the preparation and the dedication and the actual quality in those burgers, their meats, their bacon, everything like that. I've always been a big fan of it, and I've always enjoyed it and went there multiple times and always get the same thing, which is a double-decker, which is a double cheeseburger with bacon on it and cheese, and then a side of fries and a drink. It's always been banging, always been the best thing on the menu, in my opinion. I never really get anything else, and maybe I should, but it's always been my go-to order. Anyways, I got that, and I brought it home. I was excited to eat it. I took a bite, and I realized they changed their pickles. And I think that it's the pickle, really, that kind of throws off the flavor of the burger, in my opinion. Because if you don't know this, I do love pickles. I enjoy them a lot. But I like a certain kind of pickle. I like the Vlasic classic pickle that's it's not white on the inside. It's like a green. And I'm not saying it's a pure white, but it's like a lighter green, closer to white, like those kind of pickles that are a boat-shaped ones. Not a big fan of those. I don't know why, but I don't enjoy the taste. And I feel like just a classic pickle, or a pickle chip for a hamburger that you can buy at the store, a big jar of just cut up pickle slices. They're called pickle chips, but I think that they're that's what they call them, is pickle chips for hamburgers, or hamburger chips. I can't remember, but those are usually the best in my opinion. They've never really. They have that taste, that tanginess that I enjoyed. It's not too I don't know what it is. I feel like these ones just add a sweetness to them, which I'm not a huge fan of. I can enjoy sweet onions, or I can enjoy a sweeter sauce, but with the pickle, I kind of want it to be more not tangy, but a nice, I don't know, pickly flavor. Yeah, if that's the best I can explain it. I feel like the ones that I usually get are a little bit too much on the cucumber side than the pickle side. Because if you didn't know this, and you probably don't, or I don't know if you're not paying attention, but like a pickle is just a pickled cucumber. That's all it is. We just call them pickles. I don't know why, but that's just how it's always been. Um, Maybe it's just because it's like too much of a pickle still, or a cucumber left in there. Maybe it wasn't pickled enough, or maybe it was pickled like to the right time. I'm not sure, but I'm just not a big fan of those pickles that are like slightly like a lighter green, almost like whitish color when you cut into them. I mean, obviously they're green on the outside because the cucumber's also green on the outside, but I don't know. And I was actually disappointed. I didn't know like if it was like if one item or one thing on a burger could really affect my feel of it, but it turns out it can. And I was just like astonished, because I was just hold on, I should be loving this. This should be hitting on all cylinders, all feels, all tastes. This should be a knockout of the park like it used to be back in college. And I'm not sure why, but it wasn't. And I was just like, like this can be better. I know it can be, but it's just not. And that's not, it's for me, like if it doesn't need to be fixed, then don't fix it at all. Like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like I don't know if anybody complained or they just got a new pickle provider or something like that. But in my opinion, man, it was just like, oh my God, what happened? It used to be so much better. So much more flavorful. I mean, it throws everything off. It throws the flavor off of the lettuce, of the beef, of the cheese. It just throws the entire flavor off, in my opinion. And I don't know why. I'm not sure what causes that. But I feel like that could be, used for anything really. Like I remember one time, like we were making mashed potatoes and we used like these different kind of potatoes because like we got them from somebody, and they were a little bit on the sweeter side. And when we got them, when we made the mashed potatoes, I was like, these just don't taste right. Like, it's just, you got to have a certain ingredient to make the dish perfect. And I know that sounds very picky, very immature, but I think the pickiness is something that could, be a thing when you're a child, and it could also evolve when you get older. Like, if you think about it, you've been around the block for a while with food. Let's say when you're like 25 or something, 28, approaching 30, and even older. Like when you get to your 40s and your mid 30s and maybe even your 50s, right? You know what you like and you know what you don't like. And when things change, you're like, but why do they need to be changed? And maybe it's not the best to argue that with like a restaurant or a fast food chain, or like any type of chain, restaurants, whatever. It maybe that's not the best question to ask. Because it is you're not a part of the restaurant. The restaurants try to make money, either whichever way they feel like they have to, whether it be cutting costs or whether it be like changing providers or I don't know, companies. I'm not sure, but whatever it is, it's easy for us to complain, but you can't really do anything about it. In terms of the restaurant or the fast food chain, it sucks, but that's just how it is. But it's like it, and when you're older. And when you're like, oh, this doesn't taste the same anymore. This doesn't feel right. It's just different now. I don't enjoy it. I think that you have the, people say don't complain. I think that you have the right to complain right there. Because it is kind of like, in a way, just like stopping something that you enjoyed, that you thought was like so perfect before. And so, it didn't need to be changed. Nothing needed to happen. It was just going to be good. And all of a sudden you go back and it's like, oh, this is different. It's not as good as it used to be. It breaks your heart a bit. It really does, because it's like, damn, this used to be my spot. This used to be where I would always go. It's almost like whenever like a business or a restaurant is like small at first, but at the end of the day, they get bigger, right? They get a surge of customers and they get a lot more people coming in. And then once you realize that the food that you used to get from that restaurant or that fast food place, since because they have so much more business, it doesn't feel as special as it used to be. I remember that there was this burger joint in college, like right by the campus, that was delicious. It was It was phenomenal. Like, I've never been there. My friend told me about it. We went there, and they had this burger that was like, it was like a double cheeseburger with like amazing fries, and then inside of it, not just, you'd think, put some bacon on that, maybe like a little bit of different types of cheese, but this one had pastrami in it, and I was just like, this is amazing. This brings the flavor up so, like, to another level. Like, yeah, I would never have expected to put pastrami on a double cheeseburger, but it was just so delicious. And then, after time went on and, college wound down for me and my friend, we went back there one last time. We've been going, frequently before that. But, you go back one more time, and maybe it was just because of the people working. Maybe they got new employees. Or maybe it was just because, they started to get really busy lately after that. And it was kind of like it's almost like they can't put as much love into one burger or one dish anymore. They got to like spread it out so they can make multiple, and you can't really get that attention to detail on one burger anymore because, they're just more popular, and that's just what happens. It's almost like what happens when you like a music group too, like, or a band or somebody like that. People will latch on to them like they're their property. And it's almost how I was like, with food places. Like, I used to love that, and I used to enjoy that, and I used to be like, this is my spot. Nobody can go there. This is like, or this is what I listen to. You shouldn't listen to it because, when you do, people, they get more recognition, they get bigger, they lose their touch, maybe their authenticity escapes them, and they change. Sorry for burping. But I think that it's like, it's almost, it's a double standard. You should be able to complain. Of course you should. But also, you don't want to see, that business or that music group or whatever that's changing to be hindered by you. And I think that that's the most important thing, is that, just because you listen to them and, maybe this person that you knew them from the very beginning, they're like, oh, this is my thing. Well, you shouldn't want them. The band wouldn't want for you to only listen to them. They want other people to experience them so they can grow and make more money and tour more and make more music and stay together and provide for their families and all that, and just live better lives. So I think that as much as you would love to complain about it, and as much as you would want to absolutely just, hey, this is mine. I've discovered it. It's mine, and this is not for you. As much as you want to do that, and I've touched on this on a couple episodes before, but I feel like it's just, now when you see like you see how people react to it, and how, it can really damage the other people's businesses and other people's ways of life and all that. And it's just like, we don't need any more of that. That happens so much. Companies go down, bands break up, groups demolish, businesses flounder, restaurants close up, whatever you want to call it. It happens far too often now. And especially after the year that we had, we can't have any more of that. Like, I was actually kind of like, they are a chain, so they have money. But I was like worried, like, back in last year, like, oh, are they going to survive? Like, it barely crossed my mind. But when I went there, I'm like, oh shit, like, what if this place like collapsed during the pandemic, or when COVID was like really, really bad and we had like no vaccine, nothing, and we were all locked down and we couldn't really do shit. Like, what if this place closed down? Yeah, it would have been terrible. It would have been absolutely stupid. Thankfully, when I was, last week when I was in Burbank to watch the game, I got this amazing pizza. Right, it was. I'm blanking on like the rest of the name, but it was like Pizza Pazza in Burbank, I think it was called. I got it on DoorDash, and I ordered like 2 pizzas, 1 pepperoni, 1 cheese, but they were both New York style pizza. And my God, this pizza was incredible. Now, if you don't know me, if you don't know me all that well, and I think I've advocated this a lot in my podcast, is that I enjoy the shit out of pizza. Like, I enjoy it. Like, it's like, to me, it's like the bread and butter of all food, if that makes sense. You can eat it warm. You can eat it the next day. You can eat it cold. You can eat it for, like, depending on where you get it, up to 2-3 days after you order it. Like, it's just like it's so simple. It's not so messy. You don't really got to put a lot of effort into it either. And it tastes amazing. And this cheese pizza, man, this cheese pizza that I got, I was, you can see the reviews on like Yelp and DoorDash and all that, and I was just like, okay, it's got a 4.6 stars out of 5. That seems pretty damn good. for a place in Burbank where a lot of people eat there, and a lot of reviews. So it's not like it's ratio, it's leveled out quite a bit. A lot of people seem to like it a lot, and I was just like, you know what, let's try it. I mean, like I've always wanted to travel to New York and to just eat pizza the entire time, like not even go sightseeing, not even go to a landmark, or not even like really travel all that much. I just want to go to my go to a hotel, go down the street, order some pizza, go to another street, order more pizza, another street, another street, another street, and then go back to the hotel and go to sleep, and then go back out again and eat more pizza. That's my dream. That's what I want to do in New York. Like, I mean, sure, maybe I want to see the Statue of Liberty. Maybe I would want to see the Empire State Building. Maybe I would want to go see the Two Tower Memorial. But, by far and large, I'm just going there for pizza. And I hear, like, there's, like, so many places on every block, every corner of the city, but, like, I don't care. I want to try other pizzas because I'm so sick and tired of this California-style pizza that I'm eating. And I'm not saying that it's not bad or that's not good. It is good, but I just want more. I want different types. And I'm tired of these chains, too. Like, I'm tired of eating, like, we got the local pizzas around town. Local pizza places we have are, Mianez, which is local to the Central Valley. But then we get, like, these Little Caesars, Pizza Hut, Round Table Pizza. Like, I'm just like, I don't want this chain stuff. I want something authentic, and maybe one or two stores, maybe 3. And from what I can tell, Pizza Pazza was just the only store in Burbank that was, titled Pizza Pazza. And, dude, let me just tell you this. That crust, man, it was so thin. The pizza itself is so damn thin. You can easily just fold it like you would do it like an actual New York-style slice. Like, it would just fold, and it's crispy, and it's warm, and it's thin, and it's crunchy and crispy, and it has such a good flavor. The sauce is great. The cheese is great. The pepperoni one was good, too, but, like, man, I'm telling you, man, that cheese pizza was delicious. It might have been the best pizza that I've ever had. And I thought about sharing a review on social media, but I was like, nah, I'm not going to do it now. I mean, like, I was just too focused on eating that food because prior to that, I was just like, I mean, I didn't have that much to eat that day, I think. I had some Chinese food, which was good. But, that was it. And I was just like, I was so blown away by that. And I was just like, damn, dude, like, this is the best pizza that I've ever had. And I know it's from California, and I know it's from Burbank, and it's like, I also want to go to New Haven where I've heard that they have really, really good pizza. But, I can't afford that right now, I can't do that right now. My dad wants to go to New York next year, like around March, I think. So, like, I might be going. If we do go, I'm just going to eat pizza the entire time. And he was like, we're going to go there for 5 days and just do shit there. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do that. I mean, I'd make the time for that. I've never been there. I've always wanted to go there, too, like, just to see the other cities and other cultures, because I've never really left California all that much, at all, really. I mean, I've been to Seattle. I've been to Oregon. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to Las Vegas, but, like, those are, like, Oregon and Washington are pretty... No, Oregon was recent. Washington was way long ago, but Oregon, yeah, I've been, it's nice there. I mean, it looks good. It's very green, which if you're from California is like the polar opposite of what it looks like all year. There's a lot of, no. There's you could get your gas tank filled without even getting out of your car, which is nice. I didn't know that was a thing back in Oregon when I first went there, but I was like, this is pretty cool. I could deal with this. Like, even though I have no problem at all filling up my own tank, like, when I need to go get gas, I'm like, okay, and I just fill up my tank. It's like, it's no big deal. But, like, going there and getting your gas tank filled was pretty sick, I gotta say. Having never had that done before, ever. So that was pretty sick. And I'm not sure if it's like that in Washington, but when I went there, I was, like, very, very young. So I wouldn't even, like, pay attention to that at all. But yeah, what's crazy though? I come from a Hispanic descent, right? I'm Mexican, all that, right? So in California, you have these communications with, like, the hotel people. At least the hotel workers are usually Latino or Hispanic, usually Mexican, like in California. And my dad would always talk to them, be like in Spanish and shit, and say, like, how you doing, or good day today, and, like, in Spanish, right? We went to an Oregon, and hotels there, all white people, which was insane, which was a big culture flash, because I don't think that there's a lot of Hispanics in Oregon. So like the jobs that are being taken by mostly Mexican American people, as hotel workers in California are being done by white people in Oregon, which was so bizarre to me because I feel like that was just a Latino job. I really did, because I don't know, that's all I've ever known. And I was just like, oh, this is so weird how this white chick or this white guy is working this job. It was a cultural shock. And, we didn't go to a lot of hotels. We went to a lot of motels, actually, but, like, still, tons of white people there. Tons of them. And they're all so very nice people. There's nothing to, I'm not saying that they're assholes or anything like that. They're nice people. Very friendly. Very nice. Portland was cool. I went to that donut shop, Voodoo Donuts, which is actually kind of a letdown, in my opinion. It's not as good as a nice local shop of where you would get actual donuts, like, and also not like Krispy Kreme. Krispy Kreme is actually the grossest thing I've ever had in terms of donuts. Like very, very, very bad. Like not good at all. Like maybe after you let it sit for a while, it's not as bad. But when you get the donuts out of the oven and like right out of the box, I think they're just too sweet in my opinion. I enjoy sugary stuff. I enjoy dessert, but if it's like way too sugary, where you're like, oh man, like this is just a big like mouthful of sugar, it's kind of like it just doesn't do it for me. I just feel like I'm absolutely disgusted, and maybe it's because like I'm not even that big of a sweets guy anyway. Like I'm very boring when it comes to sweets. I don't really try to venture into different sweet foods. I know what I like, and I'm pretty sure I know what I don't like either. And I've tried a lot of sweet food. I've tried a lot, and I don't like much. I'm very basic when it comes to sweets. I like vanilla ice cream. I also like white cake, not vanilla cake, white cake. I love that shit. And apple pie. I think the craziest that I get with desserts is I also like cookies and cream ice cream, and I also like Rocky Road ice cream, which is the craziest I think I've ever gone. I don't really care for chocolate cake. I don't really care for other pies, really. Pumpkin, strawberry, whatever. I don't give a shit about them at all. And what else was there? Oh, cookies, chocolate chip or bust. I mean, that is the absolute gold medal cookie out there, the chocolate chip cookie. And what's funny is my mother hates them. Like, just despises them. And I'm just like, how could you actually hate this type of cookie? Like it's like the staple. It's like it's the face of cookie. Like the snickerdoodle, no. Sugar, no. Macadamia nut, no. Peanut butter, no. It's a chocolate chip cookie. Like that. That is the staple, the poster board cookie. Like how can you not like it? It's chocolate and sugar. I mean, the number one combination. It's delicious. But yeah, that's a bit of me traveling. And, recently, going to a place in Burbank to get excellent pizza. Delicious. Well, not going there. DoorDashed it because, I wasn't going to walk there. And my family went to this, not my family, my brother and my sister went to this, seafood boil. It's called the Boiling Crab there, which I enjoy a lot. But I was just feeling pizza, man. I'm always feeling pizza. It might be a curse, but I love it. I love it so much. If, like, there's nothing that I want to make or nothing that I want to pick up that's, I just not feeling, I'll just, order a pizza or make a pizza, which I haven't done in a while, by the way. Or even, like, I love Red Baron pizza. I love it. I think that it's, yes, the Red Baron frozen pizza. Pepperoni and cheese. Both actually really good. I know frozen pizza can get a bad rap, and I think that there's some that are, not as good. Like I've had a DiGiorno, which is decent, but it's more of a thicker crust, and I'm not a big fan of thick crust at all, really. And I'm beginning to learn that the more and more I have this thin style pizza, which is what I got from, in Burbank. I don't really care for the thick crust. And in California, that's all you get is thick crust, which is not my favorite. I want to be able to eat a lot of pizza. So I want that crust to be thin as shit. When I ordered the pizza in Burbank, I was like, I can eat this entire box right now. Like, it wouldn't even affect me because it was so thin and so light and so crispy and just full of flavor. I was just like, give me more of this. but I had to fend that off because I was like, I got to save some for my dad and my brother, my sister. I got to say some of this, but it was delicious nonetheless. Even though like I mean, I guess we can segue into this like briefly. I didn't want to do this now, but I guess, since, it kind of does kind of tie into this. When I was in Burbank, I was watching the Dodgers, and we, lost the first game, won the second game, which was, good. Even though, like, when I, released the podcast the day before, on Thursday, it was after we lost that first game, 9-2, I believe it was. We lost that game. We bounced back. We won 11-2. Went back to Atlanta. We lost. I can't even remember the score, but it was just tragic. I don't really want to remember it either way. But we lost in 6 games to the Atlanta Braves, deservedly. I mean, I think that we were banged up in terms of starting pitching, some hitters, some position players like Max Muncy. But I think it was just the pitching that really just took us out. We tried to do a 7-game series with only 3 starting pitchers and, bullpen that was, has already been seen a lot of. And, with Atlanta, with their momentum and their rock solid pitching, and ours just not being all that well, and not being that, the best that it's been, I think I can safely say that. Even though that we had Urias, Buehler, and Scherzer, just didn't really stop the Braves hitters. They were just on fire that series. It's a shame. It does suck. It does suck as a fan because I watched that game on TV when I got back home and I was just like, please God, we can't lose to these guys. We've been the better team this entire season. They won 88 games, we won 106. How the hell could we possibly lose this game? And I don't, this might be a little bit of a cheap shot and it might be a little bit of a complaint, but how the hell does a 106 win team does not get the home field advantage over an 88 team? Is it because of the division thing, like they won their division and we didn't? But I don't know. I just think that's it's just me complaining. I get that. But it was just so stupid, man. I didn't think that it was gonna be that easy for them to beat us because I think you could tell that we were just not gonna come back from our deficit. I think we were we might have lost maybe 6-2. I can't even remember the score, but it wasn't very good. It was from the not very too far into the end of the game, I knew that we weren't gonna come back. I knew that we didn't have it in us to come back, and it was just not gonna be. It just wasn't going to be it. It wasn't going to be our year, which is fine. We don't have to win every year. We don't have to. Oh, we lost 4-2. Yeah, but we were just down to our last players, and we lost Justin Turner. We lost, like I said, Max Muncy. We didn't have Kershaw. We didn't have Trevor Bauer's gone. We had no other pitchers really. They saw all of our bullpen pitchers, really. So they knew already how to bat them and to face them. So it's like when you do bullpen games like that, when you start off with your bullpen pitchers and show a little bit of your starting pitchers like Julio and all that, and just in the game sprinkle them in, you're gonna get a lot of at bats against our bullpen, and they're just gonna remember that. They're gonna know how to hit off of you. And like I said, the Braves deserve it. They beat us fair and square. There was no collusion. There was no, riggedness. There was no cheating, nothing by anybody. Maybe the Astros, who knows? But no, they beat us fair and square. They deserve it. I'm actually happy that the Astros are in it only because of Dusty Baker. I don't give a fuck about that team. Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Michael Brantley, Yuli Gurriel, anybody on that team. I don't give a fuck about them. Alex Bregman, fuck them. Fuck all of that team. But I will root for them because of Dusty Baker. I don't want to see it, if I could just, I don't want them to win. I really, really don't. But if they do win, I will be cheering for Dusty Baker, and that is it. Nobody else on that team. I don't give a shit about them. I don't give a fuck about them. And you know what? Maybe it's the best that we did lose in the NLCS. Because as a fan of the Dodgers, as a fan of this team, who just won a World Series, by the way, against the Rays in 2020, I've been put through so many torturous series of so many years of us just not winning it all. And I thought that if we went against the Astros, if the Dodgers went against the Astros in our current state, not hitting all that well, chasing a lot, not having the best pitchers or the best players available, or whereas you can see that the Astros have pretty much everybody. I did not like our chances. I really didn't. Now, we could always have the momentum, that we let that momentum, that confidence carry us, because that all, once you have momentum and confidence, all the statistics, all the stats go away. Predictions go away. When you have that, which is what I believe that the Braves had. They've been in this momentum, this confidence mode since before the postseason, and they've been carrying that the entire way. And I truly think that that's how they're in the position now in the World Series. I really do think that, because they just carried it on the way through. They had a couple people miss it because of, I think one of them had a COVID diagnosis or a COVID test come positive, so he had to miss a couple games. He came back though. Charlie Moron just broke his foot on the mound, or his leg on the mound, which is bizarre, but that happened. Maybe that's gonna put a dink in their armor. I'm not sure though, but they've been what you call the momentum team, which can beat any statistically best team in baseball. If you got that momentum, if you got that hot bat, that hot hand, you're going to beat anybody. It doesn't even matter at this point, which could carry them on to winning the World Series, which would mean that the Braves would win and then Jock Peterson would get another World Series, and then we would, only have one, which would suck. I mean, really, really, really suck. So, I mean, it's hard for me to root for anybody besides Dusty Baker. So I'm not sure how this is going to go. I'm really, really not. I don't think it's going to be that big of a World Series in general. It might not be that well in ratings. I'm just going to put that out there. I don't want to seem like that kind of guy, but I mean, you get the Astros against the Braves. I don't know if that's going to, engage a lot of the general public where it comes to, or even like the general sports fan really, to watch those games. I could be wrong though. Maybe the entire population of Georgia and Texas watch those games and they want to beat each other. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not sure, but I just think that I always root for one matchup every year, and every year, in the past 4 years, I've almost had that happen. I always root for the Dodgers and the Yankees because I know that's going to be great for baseball. That draw a lot of eyes, and it'd just be really fun to see that matchup again in a World Series matchup. That'd be so sick, because it never really happens in the regular season or in the postseason. It just never happens. And that the Yankees and the Red Sox are a rivalry. You know that the Giants and the Dodgers are a rivalry, but Yankees Dodgers back then was pretty big also. And they played each other a lot back in the day. And I know that there would be also a lot of Dodgers fans that would also travel to New York, or even if they're still in New York, back when the Dodgers were in Brooklyn. That'd be a classic series. And I think that that's what we all want in baseball. We want good matchups. We want to see a good team that deserves it, but also has the history, the tradition, the name brand, the players face each other. And I think that would be the best, that still is, in my opinion, the best matchup possible for a World Series. I think, in my opinion. Call me a shill. Call me jaded. Call me, bias. That's fine. But I just think I would love to see that. And I think a lot of the people in the baseball world would also love to see that as well. I don't see many people saying oh, that would suck. No, that nobody would want to watch that. Bullshit. Like I told you, 2 weeks ago, the Dodgers and the Giants for the NLDS was the best thing baseball could hope for. It was. Whether you like it or not, it was. It might not have, ended the way that you wanted to if you were rooting for the Giants, but that's just how it goes. Somebody's got to go on. Somebody's got to lose. That's just how it ended up. But yeah, that's enough baseball talk. I mean, the season's done. Season's over. We need to get everybody healthy again. One last ride. I think that this might be. This is going to be a big year, big off season, because we got a lot of players like Chris Taylor and Corey Seager in their contract years. This is the last year of their contract, so who knows? Are we going to keep Scherzer? Are we going to keep Trey Turner? Are we going to ship him away? What's going to happen? I'm not sure. I have a feeling that they might trade Seager just because they got Turner, and Turner has not been playing shortstop, which is his natural position. But I don't know. I mean, the Dodgers really love Corey Seager, which I do too. I mean, when he sucks, he annoys me. When he's doing bad, I get annoyed very easily with that shit. I don't know, though. He's been good to us. He's been great for us. He's always come in when it really mattered. I mean, this year was just an exception. That was just, we never really had it. We never really had our stuff, and that's fine. But I just want us to improve. As long as we keep improving, and not try to just wait on this team. I know we're also kind of old too, with Kershaw, pretty old. Justin Turner's getting older. Mookie Betts is not super young, but he's not super old. He's in his prime, so that's good. But again, we're also very young. I mean, Cody Bellinger, Gavin Lux, Will Smith, Trey Turner, if he stays, Walker Buehler, Julio Urias. We're also very young, but we just got to get. We just need the right approach and the right mindset to enter this the upcoming season, which seems like a long time from now, but it's going to come back pretty quick. I believe 5 months is when we're going to start pitching again, or 6 months is where we're going to start having baseball again, the actual regular season. So that's going to be cool. But yeah, moving on. I was not expecting this, but we actually got our first look at the Lightyear trailer for the new Disney Pixar movie, which is going to be the origin story of the toy from Toy Story, Buzz Lightyear. Now, I don't know if it's going to be if this is an actual person in the world of Toy Story, and he's a person who lives actually in that universe where toys are alive. I'm not sure about that, but it's it's a movie made by Pixar and Disney, so it's going to have that crisp animation. It's starring Chris Evans as Buzz Lightyear. I believe that's his name. I mean, I think that it would be his name. I don't think that Buzz is going to be the toy name, but it could be. I don't know. I'm not sure yet. It's not very clear on that. It's just called Lightyear anyway. But yeah, it looks awesome. I mean, I was very hyped about this when it was first announced last summer during the D23 thing, or what was it called? No, the Disney shareholders meeting, I think it was, when they were showing a bunch of stuff that was going to be coming out. And I was you just saw frames of Buzz Lightyear in a spacesuit, and he was had an intense face. And I saw that and I was just oh my god, this could be really cool. This could be super cool if they do it right. And the trailer just came out. I watched it and I was super eager about it, and I was dude, this could be really cool. Because I got a big The Martian fan with it. Maybe because of the song choice, the David Bowie song, but I just got a really a cool feel about it. It was it's a space movie, like a mission movie, you're sending an astronaut into space to go complete a mission. It doesn't feel like it's going to be like The Martian, he's going to be lost. Maybe it could be, I'm not sure. But it feels like a old school space movie, but just made with a Disney Pixar animation. And you got, Chris Evans again voicing Buzz Lightyear, who I think that's Buzz Lightyear. But it's just got a really cool feel with it, man. It feels like a cool story of a cool origin story of how he became Buzz Lightyear, or maybe how he, became a hero, or he did something that was so cool. There's a lot of throwbacks to the movies themselves. I think that when they're firing up the rocket or the ship for the first time, they put in this crystal thing in the ship to I guess it's the fuel. But that to me looks like crystallic fusion. If you've been a fan of Buzz Lightyear in the past, you might know what that is. He says it in the first movie. He's like, "You guys still use fossil fuels, or have you discovered crystallic fusion?" Like that. That's just like that was such a nice way to acknowledge that. Hey, if you paid attention in Toy Story 1 back in 1996, you're gonna remember this, or you're gonna appreciate that because that was so cool. That was awesome. I like the look of it. It does give off like there's some shots where like he's like on a swampy planet, and it's like you see his ship in like a swamp, and I almost get like flashbacks of Star Wars Episode 5 when Luke is on Dagobah meeting Yoda. I got that immediately when I saw it. I was just like, what are they gonna go for here? Like, is this really gonna be like a Martian type? Is it gonna be like a Star Wars type? What's it going for here? And again, it was just a teaser. There's not much on it. There's not much about it yet, but I'm excited. You know, anything with Buzz Lightyear. I mean, I haven't watched the show back in the day, the movie, the animated movie with the Buzz Lightyear Star Command movie. I watched that as well. I was so into it, man. That Buzz Lightyear was such a cool character when I was a kid, and he still looks like it's going to be really cool. I'm excited. Can't wait. It actually looked a lot better than I thought it would because like. I could have easily thought that they were going to make it like just like and maybe they will, maybe just like a slapsticky kiddie comedy, which they might still do that. But from what I can tell with the trailer, it looks like it's a little bit more serious. There's a scene in the trailer that looks like there could be emerging like out of a door, like an evil door, like a villain type of character. You don't see the character, you don't see anybody come out of that door, but it was purple, I believe. So the only thing that's purple in the Buzz Lightyear universe is Zurg. I believe. So that would give off that that indication that it could be Zurg. So that's gonna be cool, man. It's supposed to come out summer 2022. So I'm gonna be there to watch that shit because I think that's gonna be so sick. Speaking of going to theaters, though, I don't have a movie review for you this week. No movie review today. And it's not because I didn't want to see Dune. I really, really, really want to see Dune. But I had to wait because a friend of ours, me and my brothers, we were going to go see it on Friday or Saturday last week, but he called them like a couple days before so that he couldn't see it this week, and I was just like, fuck, man, I wanted to see it so badly. But I think we're going to go this weekend, so I'll have a review hopefully by next podcast. But dude, I want to see that movie so bad. And it's crazy because I've heard good things about it. I've heard okay things about it. But I just really want to see a big spectacle like Doom in the theaters. Like, I'm seeing like, oh man. And I know it's on HBO Max. And I can watch it like literally like after this podcast. I can. But I don't want to. And usually with some movies, I will say that I'm going to watch in theaters. But I'll end up watching them on streaming. Just because like I don't care about it or I never get around to it. This one I care a lot about. And I don't even know about Dune at all. I don't even know that much about Dune at all. But I just want to see that movie in theaters because I know for a fact that this can't be a letdown in the big screen. I just know that. It can't be. And it could not be that great of a story or like a good plot or a good first movie. I know that it possibly can't or it cannot be. Like there's that possibility. But I don't want to watch it on HBO Max, even though I got a pretty good TV and I got a pretty good sound bar and a good bass and a good treble. It doesn't sound bad. It's not terrible. But I'm avoiding that shit until I see that in theaters because I don't want to blow my excitement. I don't want to see it on HBO. I could have watched it on HBO Max to give you a review today, but I was just, I can't. I have to save it. I can't let this happen because if it is as good as some people say, like it's like a lot of, and it actually made a lot more money than was expected, which is good. And the sequel's it's already been greenlit as of today, so it's Dune Part 2 is going to happen. But I can't. I'm not going to fight it. I gotta see it in theaters for the first time. I know. I know you guys want to hear a review. You want me to know what it's like, and I know other people want to see it too. Like even before, I think like a couple of my friends also want to go see it too, which is hasn't been a thing for a while. They actually want to go see like a big movie that isn't like a superhero movie, and go check it out. But one of my friends has already seen it on HBO Max. He really enjoyed it. He wants to go see it again. So I'm like, it just makes my anticipation and my excitement level so high that I just can't wait. Hopefully, by next week, I will have a review for you on Dune. And that should be happening. And also, again, the news of it getting greenlit for part 2 is also very good. Because there's always this thing in my head that has always like lingered, like how Hollywood does movies nowadays. You can't do what Star Wars did back in the day, or even what they just did, because I remember when they first announced The Force Awakens, they also announced that there would be a trilogy, right? There'd be 2 more movies after The Force Awakens. So that was like old school filmmaking back in the day. Lord of the Rings, when that came out, Peter Jackson had to fight tooth and nail to get that to be a trilogy, to get him to make the trilogy that he's always wanted to, or that he knew that it would work that way. Nowadays, that is super hard to get, okayed by a studio. They want to see if the first one can make any money, if it can make the money back, if it can make more than they expected, and then if they do that, then they'll greenlight another movie. But it's not guaranteed anymore, because if this movie did do bad, which when it first was reported that it got like $40.1 million in the U.S. this past weekend, I thought that was actually kind of low, but I guess it wasn't. It was more than what they thought. I mean, the movie did cost $165 million to make, so I guess like maybe it wasn't as big as I thought it was, because I thought that movie would have easily crossed over $200 million. But I don't think that's counting the budget, the marketing either. I think the marketing is a separate price from that, so that might, I don't know. I'm not sure. I have no idea. But yeah, it's harder to make those movies nowadays because, like I said, when I reviewed The Last Duel and James Bond, these movies aren't as commercialized as like a Marvel movie would be. I mean, I think if you're talking about today's age in 2021, and you want to pitch a movie, and you want to be make it as commercial as ever, right? And you don't want to. I think the Hollywood studio would say what kind of superhero movie you want to make. Well, why would I don't want to make that, but and then they'll be like, well, that's what people want to watch nowadays. That's what sells. That's what gets people to watch movies in theaters is superhero movies, and I do like them. I still do like them if they're good, but it's sad to see that that's how what is kind of becoming in today's film world. Either make a superhero movie or don't make a movie at all. It's just what it seems like. You can have success with other movies like a John Wick or a Fast and the Furious, but you need that to be have legs. That's also had other installments of those movies, of those franchises, or even a Star Wars. You need a backbone. You need people to already be invested in that world or those characters for them to even come back. Launching a new franchise has got to be insanely tough. I remember they tried it a couple times with Jack Ryan, I believe. Jack Reacher with Tom Cruise. They wanted to see if Tom Cruise was big enough to get people to come watch his movies again, and I don't think that they did. I think it was performed pretty well, or pretty badly. They also tried it with a John Wick. Actually caught fire, which was pretty good. I'm trying to think of another big action movie that they've tried to get off the ground. The Has Fallen franchise, Olympus, London, and then Angel, actually has done pretty well too. Olympus is very good. I did not see London. I heard that it was pretty bad. And Angel was actually better than I thought it would be. So that's another franchise, I guess you could say, that is pretty successful, even though that it's not on the scale of Marvel or DC even. But we'll see. I didn't talk about the Batman trailer last week. I forgot about that. That shit looks amazing. I cannot wait to see that. I enjoyed the first trailer back in last summer's DC fandom. But this one was amazing. I loved everything about that. Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Colin Farrell as Penguin, uh, Paul Dano as the Riddler. I cannot wait to see this movie. It looks amazing. Like it looks dark, it looks gritty, it looks very like taxing on the. It looks like it can be super emotional, very impactful. I can't wait to see this because I'm excited to see how Robert Pattinson and how Matt Reeves, who I'm a big fan of the Apes movies, how he takes on the Batman universe, the characters, the world, everything about that. I can't wait to see that because it's going to be partnered up again with a show called, I think, Gotham City Police Department, or GCPD. Also including, Matt Reeves, and I think it's going to be like following James Gordon instead of like Batman. I think he might pop up in there here and there, but I'm not sure exactly. But I can't wait for that too. That's going to be very, very, very exciting. They also released a Peacemaker trailer, which, if you don't know, is a character from the Suicide Squad, played by John Cena. I cannot wait to see that either because he was one of my favorite characters in that movie. And as you know, I loved that movie. I loved it. So give me more Peacemaker. Give me more of that shit. I just want to see that. I'll eat that shit up all day. I love that character. John Cena plays him so well, so comedically funny, just brilliant. He has such a likable personality that he puts into all of his roles and all of his characters that I just want to keep watching him. It's crazy. I love it so much. All right, I think that's all we have for movies and entertainment. Alec Baldwin murdered somebody, killed somebody by accident, it seems, by a prop gun, which was so weird because I was in L.A., Los Angeles, when the news broke. Like, I was in my hotel room and I had the news on, and then it popped up. Alec Baldwin shoots and kills cinematographer and injures director. I believe that's still it. I didn't really look into it more after that, but somebody did die. I believe it was the cinematographer on the movie Rust that he was shooting, but that's fucking insane, man. How the fuck does a prop gun kill somebody? I mean, somebody have had to load it with a live round to kill one person. I don't know if it was intentionally going to be the cinematographer, but whatever. I mean, it's so bizarrely weird and just terrible how that happened. I'm a big fan of Alec Baldwin. I love him in The Cat in the Hat. He's pretty cool in Boss Baby. Departed, he's awesome. Beetlejuice, great, classic. I enjoy his Donald Trump impression. I think that's super funny. But that caught me off guard so fast. So, just wild. And I think that broke on like Friday. I think it was last Friday when that story broke. Maybe Thursday night, I'm not sure. But I believe it was Friday morning when I first saw it. Tragic. I mean, I can't wrap my head around how he must be feeling right now. He must be in absolute sorrow, terrified, in shock, and just, I don't even know how you come back from that, man. I mean, I'm not sure if the investigation is like completed at this point, but like, I would assume that stuff's going to be, there's going to be a lot more debates on what's going to be happening on movie sets nowadays when it comes to props and the safety of their employees. I don't know if it's a union thing or whatever, but like, I'm not sure. But that was crazy. And I think everybody was shocked about that, how that happened, because, you can like or dislike Alec Baldwin all you want. Whenever somebody dies like that, it's just like, it catches your attention like no other. And you're like, how did this happen? And I'm sure he and the studio want to know like how that happened and how we can prevent that. I know that they think that that cop show, I think it's called The Rookie, starring Nathan Fillion, I think they pulled out all of their prop guns because of that incident. Like, they just pulled them all, I think. I think that's what I read. Or they halted them or something like that, maybe halted production. But they did something like super quick after that incident. Like, oh no, we don't even want to, be a part of that right now. Let's get these things out of here. Like, I'm not even sure how a prop gun even works, to be honest with you. I always thought that they just had like caps in them that just made a sound, and you would have to like just make the recoil motion yourself when you act. I didn't know that was like that real of a gun. Like, I'm astonished because usually if you get like a good movie, like you'll maybe see like a a gun or two like actually have like recoil, but usually it's like the actor who makes like the motion of the recoil from a gun that translates to the movie like, that they're actually shooting a gun. So I don't know, but yeah, it's terrible news, absolutely terrible. Anyway, so the last thing that we're going to talk about this week is a wrap up of the NFL Week 7 wrap up. Not a very entertaining week, to be honest with you. Kind of duddy games. Monday night wasn't very good. Thursday night was kind of poor. Sunday night wasn't that good either. I mean, it was very rainy, so it was kind of a. This week was just not that great. If you look at it, if you looked at the entire slate and you were watching the games and you were there watching them, and then you watch the slate at the end of the day or at the end of the week, you're gonna be like, this was actually a pretty bad week. But we're gonna go through the games and just see like what happened, and just kind of, end the show there. Broncos lost to the Browns 17-14. Wasn't really expecting much of this game. I mean, the Broncos kind of have come back to earth after their 3-0 start. They've lost 4 straight now. Case Keenum was filling in for Baker Mayfield, who was, he was decent. He was 21 for 33 with 199 yards and 1 touchdown. But it was a very low-scoring game in standards for the NFL, 14-17. So it wasn't a very good game. I ended up benching Melvin Gordon the third, or maybe Melvin Gordon for he's on the fucking football team. J.D. McKissick, that's who it is. J.D. McKissick, because he had a good game the previous week. This week he did shit. By the way, if you don't want to know about my fantasy team, I'm absolute shit. I'm 1-6. I just lost to Michael. I feel like shit. I could have won at the very end, but my God, I am so pissed off at my team right now. I mean, there is no other way to explain it but just pure frustration. Since I have such bad players, I can't even trade anybody. I mean, I haven't tried because I'm just like not even giving a shit anymore because I'm so terrible. But it's like, who would want any of these fucking chumps on my team? Who wants Melvin Gordon? Who wants J.D. McKissick? Who wants Russell Wilson? He's out. Who wants Tyreek Hill? The way Patrick Mahomes has been playing, who wants him? I have the worst team ever imagined. Ever. It's terrible. Moving on, Washington football team loses to the Packers 10-24. Taylor Heineke is not the guy. Aaron Rodgers is still the guy in Green Bay. He's fantastic. Not the highest scoring game that you would think that he would have against this team by far, but they got the job done. Terry McLaurin had a good game, 7 receptions, 122 yards, 1 touchdown. Michael had him. Fucked me up on that, but a good, decent game for the Packers. They're 6-1 miraculously. They're going to be playing the Cardinals tonight on Thursday Night Football. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see that. That should be actually a really, really good Thursday night game. I'm surprised that it is on Thursday night. I've got to be honest with you. I think that's more of a Sunday night game. But, if they want to boost the ratings on Thursday Night Football, they got to have some marquee games on there. And even though that is a football viewing audience, we are trained to think that Thursday Night Football is going to be shit every fucking week. But I understand that. We all understand that. But Fox knows that they got to put out a good product for us to keep watching. And if they're going to have to sacrifice a prime Sunday night game and put it to Thursday, when it's going to be going up against baseball, or no, it won't be going up against baseball. That's right, it won't be. Then they have to try. I mean, it's going to be going up against NBA, and not baseball, though, not the World Series. So they should score on this one. This should be a good win for Fox and Thursday Night Football. All right, moving on. The Chiefs lose to the Titans 3-27. Like I said before, Patrick Mahomes might be broken. He tweeted that. I tweeted that too. He might be actually broken. I don't know what's happening. They look so terrible. And he's throwing picks still. He's playing like absolute shit. Meanwhile, you got Ryan Tannehill going for 21-27, 270 yards and 1 touchdown, right? And that's it. And just, playing okay, really, keeping the ball, but just, look, they scored 27 points in the first half, scored nothing in the second half, nothing, and they still beat the Chiefs by 24. The Chiefs only scored 3 points in the third quarter. I mean, this was a terrible game. Like I said, bad week for football. But this was just an awful game. An awful game where Tennessee should be happy that they won, by the way. Like, won in that fashion. Didn't really have to do much. Didn't really have to try that hard, at least in the second half. And just kind of walk all over these chumps. The Kansas City chumps. But yeah, I don't know what's wrong with the Chiefs. I don't think that we can take them against the Giants because the Giants also won last week. But we can never say never, really. I personally don't think that there's any, at this point in time, there's no say that this team or this player is due for a win. There isn't. I think at this point in time, you are what you are. It's not mid-season yet. Not yet. But I think at this point, you are what you are. And you don't really have much of a choice at this time. It's clearly not working against some teams, or for some teams, for many teams. It's just not working. And I mean, the Chiefs are trying to win these games. They're not going in just like trying to lose. They're trying to win, and it's still not working. I mean, look at my stupid ass who still has Tyreek Hill on his fantasy team. Why? Because why the fuck would you get rid of that guy? Why would you? Because it's still in my mentality where I say that nobody is ever due at this point because we know what they are already. I still have hope that Patrick Mahomes can give at least Tyreek Hill 1 touchdown. Just one. Just one. 100 yards, 1 touchdown, maybe 2. But still lose, though. Still lose, like actually lose. And I'm not going to say that they're going to good enough to win any games, but just give me some touchdowns. Please. I'm just begging you. Tannehill played good. Derrick Henry played well. A.J. Brown played amazing. The Titans, like I said, we are figuring out who all these teams are right now. Titans might be for real, man. They might be real. I know that sounds very strange. That sounds very premature. But again, we're going into week 8 this week. Today starts the beginning of week 8. And we're not even halfway there yet. Because we have a 17-game season. So, I don't know. I'm just saying that. I think that teams are becoming who they are. They're already who they are for the rest of the way. Unless you get, impact with major injuries or major complications, whether that be loss of a coach, loss of a player, who knows? But right now, everybody's pretty much where they're going to be for the rest of the year. They'll finish off in how they're looking right now, I think. If, the Packers are playing great, they'll probably finish great too. Washington football team's not going to be well. They're 2-5. They're not going to be good. Chiefs are 3-4. I don't think that they can turn it around. The Titans 5-2. They're looking better. Moving on, we got the Falcons and the Dolphins. The Falcons beating the Dolphins 30-28. The Falcons are actually on an uptick and playing well. Matt Ryan went for 25 for 40 with 336 yards and 2 touchdowns, and Kyle Pitts actually played well again. 7 receptions, 163 yards, no touchdowns. Still very good performance, though. I mean, I got 19 points from him. Thank God. Still lost that game, though. But they're actually playing better. Maybe it's because they're playing bad teams like the Dolphins, which could be a thing, but, would be very possible. I mean, the Dolphins just, even with Tua, I guess, can lose multiple games, even without Tua. I just don't see, any of these teams, being all that great. The Falcons might actually have something, though. I think that they tried to do something that they weren't that good in the beginning of the year, but now that they've discovered that, we have Kyle Pitts, we can actually expand the field. Why don't we use Kyle Pitts? But they've had Kyle Pitts since the beginning of the season, so I don't know what their mindset was back then. Moving on, the Jets lose to the Patriots 13-54. This does not mean that the Patriots are actually that good, though, because the Jets are actually dog shit. They're terrible. They're the worst, one of the worst teams in the league. They have no identity. They have a rookie coach. They have a rookie quarterback who might be out for a couple weeks, maybe all year. They have a no-name quarterback in Mike White playing quarterback. Robert Salah just doesn't have the control of that team. You can tell. They have no identity, no style of play. I don't even, you can't watch those games and be entertained. For anybody. Patriots, you're not that good either, to be fair. You've allowed Mac Jones to throw the ball further. I don't think that they're, they can't. There's no way that they're going to beat the Bills, though. Come on, that's just crazy talk. No goddamn way that they're beating the Bills. But they might be like the best 3-4 team in the league. I'll give them that right now. They might finish the season 10-7, maybe 10-7, maybe 9-8, depending on how they finish off these run of games. But I don't know. I still don't buy them, even though that they win handsomely over the Jets. The Jets are still very fucking terrible. Panthers lose to the Giants 3-25. This is actually a big fuck you to all the predictors out there who predicted that the Panthers would win this game and even have a remote chance, and why you should never, ever, ever think that a team at this point in time is going to change. Yes, the Panthers lost 3 in a row. They were favored in this game, though, because the Giants are absolute dog shit. They're terrible. They were 1-5. They're now 2-5. But I think that if you weren't watching the Panthers from day one, and even after their 3-game streak of winning, and then up until today, their team is not sustainable. Sam Darnold is not going to be consistent because he's Sam Darnold. Even though Daniel Jones is complete and utter trash, Sam Darnold is not that much better. And sooner or later, he's going to become Sam Darnold again. Bad habits are going to break out. He's just not going to be taking care of the ball, throwing interceptions, and really just a mediocre performance. You can only score 3 points against the Giants. Granted, it was in the Meadowlands in New Jersey at their home stadium, but still, it's embarrassing. It really, really is. Moving on. The Bengals beat the Ravens 41-17. I don't want to jump on this yet. Are the Bengals good? Yes, they are very good. Does Joe Burrow also turn over the ball a lot? He does. Most games he turns over the ball a couple times. This game he played extremely, extremely well against a team that should have beat them. I don't think that the Ravens took the Bengals all that seriously, though. Lamar thought that he could get away with it and just be cute with it. But the Bengals are just so hungry to beat them because they probably caught them on a bad week. I don't think that they're going to be better than the Ravens at the end of the year. Maybe they could, but I just see that the Ravens are just kind of didn't take them so seriously and just this one got away from them. It was almost uncompetitive. 41-17, you got to be kidding me. But that's not to say that the Bengals don't have amazing teammates or amazing players. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon, just to name a few. They've been playing pretty good all year. And now it's just all kind of come together and just really become an ensemble of who this team really is. And I think that they could be actually very good. But they're very young too. So it's I don't know if I can trust a team full of rookies and second years players and a young coach. I don't know. Yeah, I'm on the bubble with them. I know we can see that. You can tell that a lot of where teams are now is where they're going to be at the end of the year because we're already so many games in. But to me, there's just a lot of margin for error, or a lot of margins for error in this team. I don't know, because I think that the Ravens just kind of gave this one away. To be honest with you, I don't know. They just kind of let this one get away from them, in my opinion. The Eagles lost to the Raiders, 22-33. Derek Carr has been playing pretty good since John Gruden was fired. Eagles have no identity still. I'm not sure what they are. The Raiders, I'm not really sure if they can continue this because this is all a new coaching high. They want to play for their new head coach, the interim head coach, Rich Bisaccia. Want to be good, but can this withstand the test of time and the good teams that they're going to be facing? They're going to be facing the Chiefs and the Chargers again, and the Bills, I think, and who else are they going to be facing? The Denver Broncos again. Is this going to continue? I think they will push the Chargers for that division, but I'm not sure if they can sustain it. I know that this game that they played, they actually played a lot better without Darren Waller. But that also could have been John Gruden's hindrance. Maybe he was so freaking heavy on Darren Waller that they were just like, throw the ball to Darren Waller. Throw the ball to Darren Waller. Oh, wait, we have Hunter Renfrow. We have Henry Ruggs. We have Zay Jones. We have all these other players that can make plays, and we're just going to throw to Darren Waller all the time. I don't know. Maybe that's just... It seems like that was the case in a lot of games. Just throw it to Darren Waller all the time. But that changed. They spread the ball out more. Kenyon Drake had 14 carries, 69 yards, and 1 touchdown. He's also been playing pretty good. As a running back, Jalen Hurts just still kind of looks like he's running away from absolute terror on that field. They just can't really protect him all that well, which is bizarre, but also not really all that unexpected. I mean, they never really had the best offensive line to begin with. I mean, look at last year with Carson Wentz just literally running for his life and not being good at quarterback. This is going to take a lot of rebuilding to happen. I think that they need to get another offensive lineman there, maybe 1 or 2 more in there, just to give him some protection because it's just not working there, man. They can't protect him. He can't really make any good decisions. Doesn't have many options either now that he just lost Zach Ertz. He has Devontae Smith, but he's a rookie as well. So, I mean, it's hard, man. There's no real identity there. It's kind of like they're clueless. I'm not sure what's going to happen, how it's going to play out. I certainly think that, I know that they're not going to beat competition against the Cowboys. I mean, they shouldn't. I mean, unless the Cowboys absolutely implode, I don't think that's going to happen. But, yeah. The Rams beat the Lions 28-19. Look, man. I was watching that game, and I could not believe how the Lions approached that game. I mean, the onside kicks early, all the trickery, the actually going for our nutsack and trying to win that game was just you could tell that they were desperate for a win. They needed a win badly, and they tried, but they failed. But it was also a blessing for us that we woke up and actually tried. Could have been like the Ravens and not tried. But I was talking to my dad. He's like, "What's happening to the Rams, man?" I was just like, they're not taking the Lions seriously. And the Lions are throwing everything that they have at them to win this one game. Because, again, the Lions are still the only team without a win in the season. And once that happens, once that continues, you start to emerge in are we going to be the Lions again with the 0-16 record? Or are we going to be like Hugh Jackson's Browns, who can't win a game in 2 years? That creeps up. And granted, they have no talent on that team, the Lions. They don't have very, very many talented players on that team in terms of, productivity and skill. They just don't have it. Whereas the Rams have a lot of talent and a lot of productivity. So they tried everything that they had, but luckily my Rams woke up and were like, yeah, we can't lose to these guys at home. What the fuck are we doing? They actually started trying and not, doing some boneheaded plays and actually scored the ball, which was good because I was getting very annoyed. But yeah, I could easily see that. I could see the Lions not winning a single game this year. I know that they're going to also be facing I think next week they're facing the Bears, I think. I'm not sure. Let me check real quick. Are they going to be facing the Bears this week? No, they're going to be facing the Eagles. They could win that game, but I think that I think if they jump on them like they did with the Rams, they might be able to, because I don't think the Eagles have that much talent to come back and win a game. But I think that if they don't jump on them, they might lose it. But we'll see. They're playing with a lot of heart, though. A lot of heart. They just can't win any games, which also sucks for that coach and that organization. It's got to be terrible. Also, I wasn't really a big fan of the hug that Sean McVay gave Jared Goff. He hugged him like he was that was his quarterback in that game. And then Jared Goff was kind of like, didn't really hug him back all that big as Sean McVay did. I thought that was kind of awkward. Actually, no, that was really, really awkward. I was kind of uncomfortable with that. But that's just what I think about that. It was just kind of weird for me. Not a good look for Sean McVay, in my opinion. Was kind of, I don't know, he just made it weird. Good handshake, maybe a pat on the pad, tap on the helmet, not like an actual embrace, like, hey man, I love you, miss you. I don't buy that. I just don't buy it. Moving on. Texans actually lost to the Cardinals 31-5 in a game that in the first half, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then the Cardinals woke up and scored 31 points, which was, expected. This team looks amazing still. Kyler Murray looks great. Still destroying teams with 20 completions out of 28 attempts, 261 yards, 3 touchdowns. Zach Ertz had 3 receptions and 66 yards for 1 touchdown. Played pretty good in his new team. He's been with Philadelphia forever. And seeing this, now he's playing in a team that's actually contending and that he could probably fit well in. I got to say, I bagged a lot on Cliff Kingsbury last season. But this year, I can't say any of that because I think he's finally turned the corner and knows his team, knows what he wants to do with this team, is now implementing that to the team, and they're getting results. So good for them. The Texans look like shit as always. Davis Mills, again, not the answer. I believe this week they're going to be getting Tyrod Taylor back, which I'm rooting for him to get another win and distance himself from other teams. But I'm not going to count on it. I think that it's not just the quarterback, it's the entire team and the coaching on the Texans that is also just making them very bad. But yeah, that's just kind of where I stand on that. That team. The Bears lost to the Bucs 38-3. Why did they even play this game? This game was so boring, so bad, so unwatchable. Like I said, this week wasn't the greatest week of football. It was actually kind of depressing. A lot of teams lost badly, and you never want to see that as a football fan. Like, you want to see competitive football, people actually playing well, fantasy players doing well, fans being happy. There's a lot of games that just, again, there's like a 27-3, 25-3, 31-5, 38-3. It's a lot of blowout games. There's 4 blowout games this weekend or last weekend. It's pretty bad. Just unwatchable. Tom Brady was God again. 20 for 36, 211 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's really all you need. He had 16 incompletions, 4 touchdowns. That's not even a good day for Tom Brady, and they still win. In completion, regards. Chris Godwin is amazing. Him and Mike Evans are very good. They don't even need Antonio Brown or even Rob Gronkowski. They have Chris Godwin and Mike Evans. These guys are incredible. This is a super team when it comes to the offense in Tampa Bay, or as I like to call it, Tampa Bay for Tom Brady. But yeah, it was weird. The Bears were bad again. Justin Fields was horrible. Unwatchable, really. That team is so unwatchable now. They had some cheeky wins against the Raiders and like the what else did they play? I'm not sure, but they had some cheeky wins. But now we have Justin Fields in, no Andy Dalton. Maybe it's because he's a rookie. The team's not very good. Matt Nagy's not a good coach. I used to think that the Chicago Bears should be a prime organization in the NFL and be competing and doing well. like the Green Bay Packers, but this year has just been embarrassing. Even with their guy in Justin Fields. Not sure where they go from here, but like, I don't know. This might get even worse. I can see them going like maybe 8-9, maybe 7-10. It's not looking very good. They don't look like they can beat much teams. They don't look like they can beat a lot of teams, man. And it's getting weird. They look like they can maybe also not win another game. I know that they're the defending champs and all that, but it's just not even competitive. It's embarrassing to have that kind of performance against the Buccaneers. Moving on, though. The Colts beat the 49ers 30-18 in the absolute monsoon of a game. I mean, it was raining constantly in Levi's Stadium. Absolutely a downpour the entire fucking game. Nobody can throw the damn ball, really. The air threat was pretty much neutralized. You just got a bunch of run plays and drop passes and bad, a lot of penalties too. Like a lot of flags being thrown. It was a bad game. Even though it wasn't like a low scoring game, but it was just like for a while it was pretty tight and like maybe a one possession game. But then the Colts just kind of blew it open at the very end. And it was pretty much curtains for the 49ers. I was just like, okay, whatever. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. I don't want to watch this anymore. I was just so bored and just annoyed. I was just like, get me out of here. I'm annoyed. I still don't think that the Colts are for real. Sure, they had a couple wins. They beat the 49ers. I get that, but I don't know if I fully buy them yet to be like a division leader in their division. I mean, they do have the Colts, the Texans, the Jaguars, and I believe the Titans in their division. They're not going to catch the Titans for sure. I know that for sure. I mean, like the Titans are just a better team. But maybe they might finish second. Maybe they get the wild card game. Maybe they'll, surprise some people. But you know what? They will, I think. I think that the Texans and the Jaguars are just dog shit compared to the Colts. But, we'll see. I think it might be better for them. They might get better. Carson Wentz, again, broke or sprained two of his ankles and did not miss a game. So his durability is there. His will to play for the team is there. And Frank Reich's trust in him is also there. So they could surprise people. They might not do as best as you think that they will, but they'll definitely give you some competitive games. And especially in this one, which they had no business in winning because of how they played in the first half. They might actually surprise people and play better than you thought. Again, I know it was like a monsoon game, but and it was very, for the most part, stop and go penalties and all that, and just like, bad football being played. I mean, run game was decent, but the throwing game again was absolutely trash. I mean, like, I can get you the box score real quick of Carson Wentz's completions because it was terrible. Carson Wentz went 17 for 26, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns. His average throw or pass was 5.8 yards. That's terrible. And I know that he's not like in my opinion, he's not an elite quarterback. He's not like a gunslinger, I still think that he's kind of broken in the terms of last season when he was in Philadelphia and just like it imploded on him. I mean, he made a really, really stupid interception this game. He just like shoveled past it to the guy. I don't know where his head was on that play, but it did not look good right there. I was like, what the fuck is that? He was just running, trying to get the first down, trying to get, but he didn't go past the line of scrimmage, and he just literally just shoveled it, like tossed it to him. And I was just like, what the fuck was that? I have never seen that in the NFL. Like that clear of an interception, and the defender wasn't even that far away from him. It wasn't like an actual throw. It was like a little half throw. It was a wimpy throw, and he threw it right to him. It was very bizarre. I still don't think he's all there, like recover from that absolute disaster in Philadelphia last year, which is expected. I mean, that was pretty bad in terms of playing at Philadelphia. I don't know, but yeah. What's weird is that the San Francisco 49ers are 0-3 at home, which is odd. I mean, that place should be like a fortress. Levi Stadium, where they should never lose, but they're 0-3. It's not looking too good for them. I don't know if they go to Trey Lance now because Jimmy G didn't play terrible, but I don't know if Trey Lance is he even good? I know that he was drafted. They traded up to get him, but is he even good? Wait, maybe they didn't trade up. Maybe that was the Bears. But I don't even know if he's even that good though. Like, remember he opted out of 2020 because of COVID, so he hasn't really played even that much football. So I don't even know if Trey Lance is even that much of a better choice than Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know. I'm not sure. Last game of the week, the Monday night game with the Manning cast was back. Thank you, God. And I have to say, they had some pretty good guests. They had, first of all, the game. Let me get the scores out first. Saints beat the Seahawks 13-10. The Seahawks are also 0-3 at home, which is also crazy because I feel like that place is also super hard to win in. Saints get the win. Jameis Winston went 19 for 35, 222 yards, 1 touchdown. It was also raining on that game, so it was not the best in terms of throwing the ball, except for Geno Smith's bomb, which was like 84 yards, I think, which was pretty cool. But other than that, it was pretty much trash. But yeah, it was a good game. I mean, not a good game. It was pretty boring as well. Again, 13-10, not a very good, entertaining game, which kind of caps off a not so good week in the NFL. Again, it's not like I don't enjoy watching bad football, but I prefer to watch good football. Any football for me is good, except college. But this was not a very memorable weekend of football. It's just not a very good week. Hopefully this week can turn it up and get better. Anyways, back to the Manning cast. They were back. I swear to God, did their mom dress them up? They were wearing the same exact sweater. It gave me flashbacks of when my mother would buy me and my brother the same exact clothes as we were when we were growing up. I was like, oh, this is giving me PTSD bad right now. Like, this is not good. Why is this happening? They had solid guests. They had Marshawn Lynch. They had Tom Brady. They had Sue Bird, Drew Brees. I actually thought was actually a little bit more awkward than most people thought. Tom Brady, Marshawn Lynch, and Sue Bird were pretty good. They all kind of poked fun at Peyton Manning. That was fun. I think that Drew Brees was just kind of like, he seemed bored up there. Tom Brady seemed pretty happy to be there, but Drew seemed kind of bored. I was kind of like, yo, bro, what the fuck? Like, you're on TV right now. Kind of like be a little bit more pep in your step. Like, what is this? He showed his kids to, the crowd was like, okay, whatever. So he's like, hey, say hi to the kids. But it was awkward because, like, the Mannings were, like, mid-sentence when he was trying to say hello to my sons here. And they were just, like, mid-talking, trying to commentate on the game and, do their job. But Drew's like, hey, kids, hey, come say hello to your friends or my friends. It's like, okay, whatever. It was kind of awkward, to be honest with you. But, yeah, so, that was the NFL week wrap-up. It was fun. Not the best, but again, football is football. We can only hope for a better week. We can only hope for it to turn around and be better. And turn around and have a classic game. I have high hopes for this Thursday night game between Arizona and Green Bay. This should be an amazing game. It really should be amazing. But, it being on Thursday night does kind of draw a little bit of a hex on it because it is on Thursday night, it could be bad. I'm not saying that's gonna happen or if it's true, but it's definitely a possibility. Oh yeah, so that's it. That's it for this week. Thank you again for listening. Thank you for watching. Again, you guys can find this podcast on Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Remember, it's going to be at the name Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. That's it. So I got to type in, should pop up, and you can like the video, share the video, leave a comment on YouTube. And if you're on the podcast, you can rate, review it. Write a review, give it a star rating, do all that shit. Show your friends, show your family, link it up. I post these on Instagram, on the stories and Twitter. I tweet them out the day they come out. Check them out. Let's get the ball rolling. Spread the word. Let's have some fun. Yeah. And thank you again. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys back next week.